Joe Biden is one trippy dude, let me tell you. According to Newsmax, Biden stumbles again on Air Force One stairs. President Joe Biden tripped while walking up the stairs to Air Force One on Wednesday as he was leaving Poland. Biden, 80, stumbles midway up the stairs and then recovered and finished the climb to the plane's doorway, according to a pool reporter. The president then turned and waved to those on the tarmac before entering the plane. This is not the first time Biden tripped while walking up the stairs to Air Force One, and then the president has become known for verbal gaffes. On March 2021, Biden stumbled up the stairs several times while walking quickly up the stairs to Air Force One as the plane idled at Joint Base Andrews. Video showed the president stumbling twice halfway up the stairs before tripping and dropping to one knee. He then stood and appeared to dust his knee off before reaching the top of the stairs. So, we saw that footage of him tripping back in March of last year has become pretty famous. We saw that pretty frequently. And honestly, it's not that big a deal. People trip going up the stairs. I tripped probably, I don't know how many times in my life. And it's not some major indication that you are incapable of holding presidential office. It's not some huge indication that you are old. Certainly, when you are old, it's going to happen more often, but there are plenty of other indications that Joe Biden is old and, losing his mind rather than him tripping up the stairs. The reason, though, that it's notable and worth bringing up is that the left has lost its mind about similar issues that they have brought to the American people's attention and blown way out of proportion. So the reason that it's worth bringing up and highlighting, hey, how come, you journalists aren't paying attention to this when you have blown these other things way out of proportion? Actually, dating back to Gerald Ford, he had a slight stumble on the stairs, and they talked about it forever. And they made such a huge thing out of this slight stumble that wasn't actually an indication of how old he was, because Gerald Ford at the time wasn't very old. He just stumbled a little bit, and they beat it to death. On SNL, they had jokes about it. Everywhere they were beating Gerald Ford to death over this slight little stumble on the stairs. And, coming back to recent history, you guys all probably remember how Donald Trump went down this very slight ramp coming from a speech he gave. I think it was at a military academy or something. But there was this very slight incline of a ramp, and he shuffled his way down it. And I don't think there was any ice out at the time or anything like that, but he did kind of comically go slow down this ramp. And there was this video footage that went viral. It went around all over the place, and the news media and journalists tore him to shreds about it. Man, is he like old and frail or whatever? And why is he going slow? Did he have some kind of stroke? Like, can he not walk anymore? Despite the evidence of him walking super normal before, after, going upstairs before and after, he just took this one particular ramp super slow. And they beat him to death over it. He walked up Air Force One like a champ afterwards. It's just this one weird moment where he walked slow off a ramp. So who knows why that happened, but it did. And you have that moment, right? And then Joe Biden stumbles up Air Force. He falls all over himself last year, coming up Air Force One. He trips, he falls. That happened last year, and you highlight that, nothing from the leftists. No year-long video replays about that from the leftist media, questioning whether or not the guy can function, right? The only news you hear about that is the right going, nothing. And today, again, he stumbles on the ramp, and you don't hear anything picked up about that. Certainly not beaten to death about that. So, I'm certainly going to be one out there to say, listen, the guy stumbled on the stairs. I certainly have stumbled on the stairs. I'll probably stumble on the stairs sometime, at least this year. I mean, we do it, right? You're not paying attention to what you're doing. And if anybody out there is going to make too huge a deal on this on the right. Get over yourself. This is not a moment to pick on Joe Biden. Joe Biden has so many other things to make a big deal about. This is not one of them. There are policy issues. There are clear cognitive issues. And, here on this channel, we have the Daily Biden, right? Where we talk about those cognitive issues and all of those things. But tripping on the stairs is a thing that normal, everyday people do. And this is not an issue to pick on Joe Biden about. What this is an issue to pick on people about is the journalists, right? The disingenuous and inconsistent hypocrisy to highlight with the journalists who just can't get their heads on straight about who they're going to pick on and for what reason. Though I guess I'll correct that. It is consistent who they're going to pick on because if the left does it, it's fine. If the right does it, it's super bad, right? If Trump shuffles down a ramp, then it's the end of the world. If Biden can't function, then it doesn't matter because right evil, left good. And that's all that matters. And so the reason that's important is because we're headed into the 2024 elections or election cycle. That election is going to be a long way off. And you're about to see a ton of stuff. And we're going to head back into the season where shuffling down a ramp is going to be taken like it's the end of the world. And even people who aren't hugely into politics, but inclined to the right, people who don't take stuff all that seriously. They don't think a lot about politics, and they don't take all this stuff all that seriously. But they put this stuff out here. Then they're going to take stuff like this huge deal that the left makes about simple stuff like shuffling down a ramp and go, man, maybe that is a big deal. And honestly, that's the point. The left hammers this stuff out there until people who aren't really all that big into it go, oh yeah, maybe that is a big deal. And because the right won't beat Biden to death about this, they will just shrug it off and say, listen, people trip, they fall down. They'll play videos to laugh about it because it's funny, but they won't make a deal about it like it's the end of the world, because it's not. Then, you're going to have people who are influenced about the dumb stuff. Don't be one of those people who's influenced about super dumb stuff, and try to think for yourself along those lines. You're going to have this campaign heat up. You're going to have a lot of super dumb stuff put out there, and it's going to be made out to be a giant deal. And try to think through, do I really care about this super dumb thing that they're putting out there and that they're making a big deal about? Is this a shuffle down a ramp type situation? Or is it a actual real major deal? Because they'll make a huge deal out of nothing, and try to process that. So Joe Biden tripped. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Don't let the right tell you that it does matter. It just matters because the left and the journalists are dumb. So, like, comment, subscribe, help us get rolling as a channel. All your interactions really help get us launched. And let's rock and roll, guys. Let's build it up and build something successful here. All right? Thank you.